Chris, how was your pee break?
My pee break.
It might flash you undetected.
Random, baby.
Yeah.
Thanks for having me. Quite an intro.
Let's address the elephant in the room. That's not the elephant in the room. There's no elephant. Nobody cares.
I too am a thought criminal.
Good. Well, I like you already.
Does this look like a girl who's joking around?
No.
Around?
But how much do you actually understand money? Especially the new wave.
Beauty or intelligence? When you unleash both, it is men's kryptonite. Welcome to Talk to Me, Taylor. Hi, everybody. I mean, don't I just like to make an entrance or not? I guess I was just literally talking to my fucking self, trying to figure this out. But you know what? Better late than never. What is up, guys? Hey, sorry for that. But also, does that not, this little tech hiccup, not personify our brains right now? Just like trying to process this life and this existence and everything being awry and nothing making sense. But actually, maybe did not plan this, nor did I plan really much of this app. But maybe that actually is capturing and indicative of this story arc tonight. Altogether, on the whole, not what he said, because it is chaotic. It is a lot, but in the end, is all like the last man standing. What will remain is each other. Like you and me and you being here, reconnecting in our purest form. Like here's hoping. And if you think like, what, you esoteric bitch, like what are you even saying? We're gonna get there. Hey guys, it is so good to be. I feel like it's been a minute, that the two of us, you and me, the single, you know who you are. I'm watching you. No, I'm looking at you, talking to you. No, that all of us are sitting down together. It's been a minute. I know I've had guests. I've been all over the place, but it is Monday. And I, unlike most of this generation and, the world at large, I actually like to stand by my commitments. And so I said, I'm going to go and talk to the people on Monday night here on GNN. And it has been a minute since it's been just us, one-on-one, if you will. And the reason, by the way, I actually look somewhat put together and not like a sewer rat is because I actually had a big fancy shoot today in Nashville in studio for a project. I'm very excited that I will be announcing soon. And that's actually very much in line with this, all about just like being out of the cage, being unleashed and out of the box in a society, let's be real, where everybody is trying to fucking holier than thou. Here's how to be, lay down the law, end all be all, put you in a box. And it's like, how about no, bitch? So today, because this is a little haphazard, but I feel like you guys like that. I don't know. That's what I've heard. Like a little birdie told me. It's just real. It's just honest. Obviously, I'm like most definitely disheveled. I'm most definitely disgusted at the world. I've been offline, truthfully, because my brain is like, look, it's a big brain up there, but a bitch can only handle so much. I only have the capacity for so much sickness and tragedy out there in the world. So I've been offline. And so this episode today, hey guys in the comments, is going to go on a little bit of a journey, okay? I'm going to catch you guys up on where I've been down in Miami. What? Will Smith, you thought. Welcome to Miami, okay? In Miami for Bit Basel, which I was working, and I have some crazy stories. But it's not just, again, I've said this, it's not just like Taylor airing out, her diary because it's like the Babysitters Club, like she feels like it. No. I always have a bigger point. I always got a purpose. So, something cool about these stories and just kind of a fun, kind of kooky turn of events and maybe to inspire you. And am I not procrastinating from getting to like the real world that's going on in the world? Yes, I am procrastinating, but also not because we just are. I think this is just, I thought Charlie Kirk was the breaking point. Like, this is just truly, we can all feel it, right? Like, you'd literally have to be absolutely brain dead. You'd have to have negative 5 brain cells to not feel like this is just a tipping point. Like, it's just like the floodgate moment of what's about to be unleashed. And so we're just like tapped out and we're exhausted, we're depressed, we're tired, we're over it, like too blessed to be stressed. I don't know. So I am gonna give like a little riff on what's going on in the world because I'm not that brain dead. And then in the end, I'd like to sort of bring it full circle. Maybe the beginning stories will be a little seeds of inspiration. And then in the end, kind of turn to, as bleak as everything is, I really do underneath, call me crazy. I've been called worse. Have hope that there will be some reckoning and unleashing and a renaissance of sorts, right? Of our collective fucking souls and just spiritual beings at this point, because what is even left? So that's kind of where I'm going with all this. Like, what I really feel is going to happen. And if I'm crazy, I'm crazy. But if I'm right, well, you heard it here and it is recorded in history on this Monday, December 15th, 2025. Like I've said, Nostradam tits. So, Bit Basel. The reason I'm telling you guys this story, and that's also why I've been a little dark because I was flown there last minute, is because there is so much uncertainty in the world. There is so much, chest pounding and judgment. And we have pundits up in and around our assholes all day long telling us how to be in life. It's like, just can it? Can you can it? Sally and Benny and like just all these motherfuckers. Like, can you just, like, who appointed you? The police of all of us. But I hope that these stories kind of inspire you in a world that is so confusing to just go past your reservations, judgments, preconceived notions, and fucking go for it. So, and I've noticed that even in my own life, every time, and I also am a little bit of a control freak, like you may or may not know me well enough by now. Every time I have reservations or I'm like, I don't know, or I'm skeptical and I just dive right in, it is just exponential. Like what I expected times 10 in a way that I could have never predicted. So all that to say, Bit Basel happened in Miami. I think it was the 6th annual. And if you don't know, Bit Basel is the Web3 crypto blockchain, Bitcoin, if you will, own organization beast that takes place during the iconic Art Basel in Miami. Hey, Pyramid 7. Hey, guys. It's so good to see you. I miss you like a fat kid loves cake. And by the way, like, nobody trolls harder than 50 Cent. I'm almost done with the Diddy documentary, and just like the glee on 50 Cent's face knows no bounds when he's being interviewed. And they're like on ABC, which, by the way, apparently it's the only station, or one of the only stations that Diddy can get in prison to watch it. But she's like, I think it's Robin, whatever. She's like, what do you think he'll think of this documentary? And 50 Cent's like, I think that he will love it. I think that he, will see a lot of truth in it. And he will just think it is the best documentary I've ever seen. Like, if you thought Trump trolled hard, Trump walked so 50 Cent could run, but also Trump's just gone too far. We're going to get to that later in this toxic environment with the Rob Reiner thing, but I digress. Okay. So, Bit Basel. So, I was tapped to get flown in, and it was all very last minute. And you guys, I was stressing out. Okay. I was stressing, like, not to get TMI, but I had it was that time going on. It was last minute. I had stuff going on in Nashville. I had like, you literally would have thought I was graduating, 8th grade with braces because I had a pimple the size of Montana on my face. Like, it was just a whole thing. I was scrambling. I was trying, and I was like, I don't even know. Do I call it? Like, is it even worth it? I'm trying to kind of like janky jerry rig put together the, flights and accommodations and all this. But I was like, Taylor, for like, I was just anxious Annie about it. I don't know. Again, I didn't even know the people I was going for literally could have been serial killers. Okay. I was going to say could have been Rob, Ryan, or son, but I think too soon. But either way, I knew nothing about them, nothing about like what I was doing, what I was going in, knew nothing. But I was like, you know what? Why slap the universe in the face? Like, the universe is presenting this opportunity. So just go, bitch, like go, bitch, go, run, Forrest, run. So I went, and again, despite my reservations, the things that unfolded were just so like, you can't even write, right? And also, because I knew so little going into it, I thought whenever there are these big events, you guys know, there's always kind of offshoot events. So I thought it was just a Bit Basel themed, event I knew it was in a penthouse, but I was like, oh, I thought it was just like to host and, moderate panels and do interviews with speakers and VIP guests and whoever it was at said whatever offshoot random event. No, I show up. It is literally for actual fucking Bit Basel, like the actual whole event itself. Okay. So I was like, all right then. So we're just going to go right into this. Thank you so much, Pyramid 7. I appreciate it. Yeah. It's one of those things, I've done this long enough. And even for everyone watching too, I've been thinking about this so much lately. Guys, we're seeing like life is literally, this sounds so cliche, but it's so short. It's so dark right now. Like, just go for it. I mean, who actually literally cares? So, and again, I've been anxious Annie my whole life. And more, it's like the universe presented this opportunity. Just dive into it. Just go and see what happens. Again, like, stop trying to control, right? So that's kind of what I told myself. I was like, I'm here for whatever reason. This, is in my lap. Make the most of it. And do your thing. Like, you don't split a brain cell. It ain't that hard. So I can't even begin to describe the amount of people who are so smart and so accomplished and so forward thinking and innovative who I met in art, in tech, in business, finance, creativity. I mean, truly the best of the best. But there are two stories that I want to tell you that are just so kooky and that you like can't even write. The first one is I hear the whole weekend that Tom Brady's chef is the one behind all of the food the whole weekend. And I need to explain to you again, okay? Let's put it this way. There is a literal, basically like a footnote in my Substack. When you go to my Substack and it's like, here's what the page is about, or the blog, guys, I'm brain dead. I'm sorry, but not. Here's what to expect. Literally, you go down and it's like the occasional Tom Brady thirst rant just for good measure and for balance. No, but all jokes aside, not only is he a walking god, and like any guy I've ever dated knows, like, it's just an unspoken but spoken rule. Like, babe, love you, but like, Tom Brady is my forever, not even hall pass, but like, I will be his mistress. I will be his like I love you, no hard feelings, but I gotta go with Tom. And I think most of the time the guys are like, respect it. Now I get it, but more than that, I grew up because I get asked this a lot. Like, are you just on the Tom Brady bandwagon? Da da da. I grew up in New England. My dad was a diehard, like, had season tickets. The Pats like won a Super Bowl one year on my birthday. So there's that. I'm like, the people need to know where my alliances lie. But further, it's not just that. It's that he truly is. I mean, not to be just like jerking off right now on the live airwaves, but his, dedication and commitment and that grit and that mindset is truly my North Star. And, I've been at this building in the depths, in the hard times, like blood, sweat, and tears for a decade. And whenever I'm like, I don't know, Taylor, I'm like, what would Tom Brady do? Like, you do not quit. You do not give up. You go until the very last fucking second. Like, that is always like my end all be all, my motivation, everything, right? So if I haven't made that clear enough. So meanwhile, I'm like, okay, his chef is like preparing all the things, back in the ether of the Sagamore Hotel somewhere, right? So sure enough, one thing leads to the next. And one of the guys who I really hit it off with is like, oh, I'm connected. Alan Campbell is the chef's name. He's like, I can connect you, da da da. And I'm thinking, like, okay, you never know, in the especially in this industry, like people talk a big game and then they don't actually, there's no follow through. So I'm thinking, like, okay, yeah, I've heard that before, only like 17 million times this month. And never mind in the decade of my career, right? But it actually happens. And so you cut to, and what's so funny is I was going to originally leave Miami on a Sunday morning. And they were like, no, stay for Sunday. There's stuff going on Sunday. Sure. So, okay. I get there. Meanwhile, my feet are run ragged. My voice is run ragged. Like I have been giving it my all, like showing up, not having been prepared, being on my game, running these panels, making the best dialogues I can, the best, most engaging time for everybody, right? So it is Sunday. I got there Thursday. I'm like, I am like a corpse. I am a shell of myself. So I show up, okay, wearing sneakers, and I give the booster literally my sweatpants are in my bag. I'm about to run to Fort Lauderdale Airport after this, only for them to be like, hey, you're going to moderate on the main Bit Basel stage, but also out of nowhere, I end up essentially getting the connection with the Tom Brady like chef and business partner and all this, and end up just interviewing him right there on the rooftop. And what's so crazy, I just thought this is so surreal, but what's even crazier is in the interview, we were talking all about, if fat, because we both obviously, are really into our fitness and break out of the cheesy like fads and the red flags and all this and the trends for what's real. And what's so nuts is we were talking about how he helped create, if you guys know, you don't even necessarily have to be a football fan to know, but the TB method, right? Like the TB12 Tom Brady method, which is this whole regimen for, everything, like his body and taking care of himself and nutrition and eating and working out, the whole thing. And Alan, his chef who I met and interviewed, wrote the book and helped create it with Tom Brady. And so we're talking in the interview about how it was so ahead of its time, the book, and how people thought that it was too harsh. Even how, Tom Brady like doesn't drink coffee and all this, which again, like I said in the interview, that's the one fault that I could find in this man. And it's okay. Even though it crushed my hopes and dreams of having coffee on our porch one day, we can look past it. Right. No, anyways. Okay. You're like, she's deranged. But in that moment, I was like, this is so nuts, because I remember getting that book for my dad. I think it was for Hanukkah one year, which, by the way, happy Hanukkah from your fave Jew. And then cut to, like, I got it for him as a gift. And I remember it was like this whole big thing and it had just come out. So how crazy, cut to however many years later, I'm speaking with the man who, conceptualized it, brought it into being, was there with Tom Brady hand in hand, and was so informative. Black Grant, my fave, was so informative, and now to have this crazy turn of events brought to life. And I feel like that is just where the story starts, because now it's like 1 degree of separation from Tom Brady and like from me being on top of him, and in his mind, living rent free. No. But that was really cool. Like such a crazy moment. And again, like when I wouldn't have expected it. And then the other thing that happened that day. So this goes to show, guys, like you just never know. And again, I feel like I hate the woo-woo of it all, but it's like the universe really, when it presents itself and you're like, no way, that's crazy. And something that ends up panning out that it's like you couldn't see it or couldn't, predict it then. But it's like the plan's all there, the plan's there. I think Drake was onto something, even, with or without his Degrassi days of the God's plan situation. Like, he knows. So, yes. So I get there Sunday in my Reeboks, like looking a little hot mess. And I'm like, okay, this is going to be kind of like tying the loose ends, whatever, before I get to the airport. So I get there early, okay? And it's all these men, like, as per usual, right? In this closed off, like, suite. And the man I'm working with running the event, he's like, oh, that's Winston Churchill's grandson in there. and they're working on all these like big deals and all this stuff, right? So I'm thinking to myself, like, okay, casual, like as one is, just sitting there on a Sunday. And I'm thinking in my head, like, maybe I will, maybe I won't meet him. I mean, how cool would that be? But I'm also like, with these kinds of things, it's always so sporadic. You never know. And again, relinquishing control and being a control freak my whole life, I'm really starting to just be like, listen, like there are so many times I've been so extra and done the most and jumped through hoops to be like, no, I have to meet this person and do this interview, whatever. And I was just like, you know what, Taylor, let the chips fall where they may. Okay. So you may or may not meet him, whatever. You'll just see what happens. Just kind of go with the flow. So sure enough, they end their meeting. And he and I literally get into this entire conversation. And it was so wild because first of all, I sit down and I'm like, Churchill, I'm like, big shoes to fill, given your family. But I said to him, and it was so crazy because it was so minimalist. But I was like, I just so respect, obviously, your family legacy and what your grandfather did. And I said, I hope to be a voice of my, generation. And I was telling him a little bit about it. And immediately he was like, he didn't even need that much information. And he intuitively got it. He was like, you're the truth teller. And I was like, what? Like, it's not even my birthday. How did you get this? How did you know? And, and we were talking, politics and truth and, my mission and all of it. And then next thing you know, like, this is Winston Churchill's fucking bloodline grandson. So this is like kissing the ring and everyone's like kind of tiptoeing, kind of like, oh, Mr. Churchill, the whole thing. Next thing you know, I have the pictures. I am quite literally sitting on his lap like Santa. And he's like, any friend of Taylor is a friend of mine. And like, you would think, he's like, I'll come to which who knows if it'll happen, but he's like, I'll come to Nashville. We'll do an interview on your show. You can ask about my business, because now he has a whole aviation business and a whole thing. But just so funny, again, the turn of events. But what's craziest about this story is how I was recently just brushing up on Winston Churchill and what he represented and his influence and his impact. And then cut to a trip that I was wigging out to go on. Like I said, anxious, this, that, second guessing, being like, I don't know, it's last minute. Only to, in my Reeboks on a Sunday, wind up on his grandson's lap like Santa's elf, quite literally talking about what I want for Christmas and my life, and him like just intuitively getting it and being my best friend. So life is crazy, guys. So in a nutshell, that is where I've been. Why I haven't been as present here on the stream, been out there living. And I was so excited to bring those two specific stories to you guys. There's so much more to come out of it. And, you'll see there's more interviews and like really interesting conversation to be had. And truthfully, like, again, like the sovereignty and autonomy and just being from underneath the thumb and the control of all the motherfucking entities that be, you guys know, big tech, government, pharma, like I'm over everybody and everything. Like, I'm just truly over it. But yeah, so that was a little bit, just cool and a little Forrest Gumpy and what I wanted to share. And now to the real world, the other real world. So obviously, my little procrastination station landed us right here. I'm just purely disgusted and sickened by everything. And look, I said in the beginning of this episode, there are pundits in our face, newscasters in our face. Like, aren't you guys just over it all? I don't know if I'm just burnt out or tapped out. Like, I just don't give a fuck. Everybody is screaming over each other. Everybody wants to give the quickest hot take. And it's so kind of freeing to pull out and zoom out and have a bird's eye. I said this in the episode about the conservative civil war, right? But it just feels like it's all, yes, super dark and sad and tragic. I mean, Bondi, I'm absolutely sickened. You guys know. I don't have to tell you. I don't have to be another person on here. There are multitudes of people talking about how disgusting, how predictable this was, what's happened, and, globalized intifada. I don't know. Harvard, Columbia, all these colleges, I guess you got what you wanted. I mean, don't be so shocked when it's here. It's just all disgusting. I saw a video today as well of a house in California with all Jewish decorations outside, just straight up being shot at, and people screaming, being shot at, and people from the cars screaming, "Fuck the Jews, kill the Jews." Like, I'm just so numb at this point. But on the bright side, I will say, and James Maslow said this when I interviewed him recently, and even I went to Temple Friday night, not realizing it was the service before Hanukkah. So I was like, this shit is lit. I was like, this is more off the hook than my bat mitzvah. They had like lights, they had songs. The rabbi had a shirt that said, "I Latka, move it. Like, I like to move it. I was on the floor. They gave us little lightsabers. Like, it was a whole thing. But the idea that, always finding light in the darkness, and, Jews, and, it's just anybody who's awake to this and with a brain understands. It's just so tired, and it's exhausting, and it's just so blatant and in your face, and we can finger point, and I'm just so disgusted. And again, the fact that it's like the oldest bigotry in the world, and it's just iterations of it over and over and over. Like, I'm just purely so disgusted and sickened by the whole thing. I have family members who are like, I won't wear my Star of David out. Like, just the whole thing is disgusting, right? You have that, obviously Rob Reiner, the horror of that, and as that's unfolding, like, what a horrific way to go. And if it was his son, to think the person you brought in the world is the one to take you out, and then how Trump responded to it's just like the toxicity of it all. Like, I couldn't believe my eyes when I read his Truth Social post about it. I was like, this has to be doctored. This has to be AI. But basically saying that, what killed him was this extreme case of, Trump derangement syndrome, and how he just went loony and sociopathic. Like, it's just, Trump is toxic, but this was just another level of like inhumane, like, just really, and even conservatives are like, this is really just not okay. And I'll be honest with you guys too. Another thing, like, the Candace Owens, Erica Kirkland, like, the whole thing has just become such a fucking circus. You guys know I've been so done with the Candace Owens thing, and I'm somebody, I watched every episode, even before the Charlie Kirk stuff, like the Macron, all the, all this, all that. And finally I got to a point where I was like, this is so, and I always made fun of it for being so obviously opportunistic and gross on a level, and, and grifting, but it's become, and, making the whole thing like for sport and like a crime series drama. But now the fact, and she always said from the beginning, if Erica Kirk tells me to stop, I'll stop. Like, that's the most important thing here. And it's become so tacky, so tasteless. And the fact that like now she's going at, like, they're addressing each other, and she's going at Erica Kirk now after speaking about her, like, for sport. And I even saw, because I think they're meeting in person today, and I don't even know what happened. And truthfully, again, with all this, I'm just like, I'm so tapped out. I don't even fucking care. Because it's just become so off the rails. And also, like, if he were alive for that, he would be disgusted. Like, it's just so gross. But she posted to her Instagram story, like, let's go, with fire emojis to meet with Erica. And I'm like, what is this, a fucking Jake Paul boxing match? Like, what are you doing? Like, it's all so toxic, and it's all so sad, right? And again, to bring it back to the beginning, guys, like, I got to a point where it's like I couldn't even take it anymore. Like, just being so disgusted and overwhelmed and overstimulated and just sad and taking it all in. Like, I had to be offline all weekend. I was putting off, like, people were sending me stuff about Bondi, left, right, and sideways. I'm like, I can't even, my brain doesn't even have the capacity. Like, I can't anymore, right? But I want to end this on a bright note. That's what we Jews do. You can count on us for that. You can count on us for seeing the bright side of things. That is for damn sure, as we've only been doing for centuries. No big deal. But truly, and it is Hanukkah, and the beauty of, they said that at Temple Friday night. It is really beautiful, like seeing the light in the dark, right? And I can like feel it in my bones that we are coming to such a breaking point. I really think, and I hope, there is going to be some unleashing and breaking out of the cages in a positive way when it comes to, there's two routes. Either we take each other out if AI doesn't take us the fuck out first, or we just, I don't know, it's kind of giving Woodstock. Like, we just get back to the human and the connectivity. And I don't know about you, but I'm craving lately. I mean, again, this is on brand for me, but being out of the box. But this, I picture it like to the nth degree. I'm just craving like out of body. And I'm not even like, I don't even do a drug harder than Tylenol, honey. Like I am as square as it comes in that regard. But I just mean, experiences and connectivity and to free our minds. Like we're going to have to, right? It can only be so dark and heavy for so long. So whether it be social or sexual or interpersonal or entertainment, like whatever it is, I just see this kind of exploratory connection, because what is the alternative? Like we are just, I mean, I don't know, raise your hand. Is it just me? It's like, I'm craving it. I'm craving, but in a healthy way, to kind of be out of body, and call it escapism or I don't even call it that, or wanting to numb ourselves. Maybe it's just to get to something more and greater and pure and real and truly authentic and pure hope and pure light. I don't know. I can feel it. So if any of you have ideas, asking for a friend. So as dark as it is, there's always the yin and the yang. This might sound absolutely crazy, but I also feel like I'm seeking out things, people, experiences, right? To just have that pure connection and that, I don't know, fulfillment and buzz, and excitement. So in a way, it's also kind of exciting. I don't know. Maybe you guys may think I need to be committed after this, like straight jacket vibes, or maybe just maybe I'm onto something here. Tell me if you feel it or if it's just me. So that is I'm getting a text from Black Rant as I rap. He's going to be like, lady. Oh, he said, you're reading my mind. All the old structures are crumbling and people are going to seek alternatives. Absolutely. I don't know. I can just feel it, and in a really good way. So as dark and as bleak as things may seem, guys, I don't know, just I'm right here. We're all right here. Whatever you want to grab onto, no, full consenting. Actually, I don't know in this new Wild West world. No, but hold on to that, because I really truly feel it. And on a last fun note, I have to end, with my obligatory coffee, which is a Friends mug, because I was watching Friends last night. Again, anything to just escape this like wretched place. And I turned to my friend that I was watching it with, and he was like, because I was younger when it came out, and back then he was, I don't remember the early days, obviously, but he was more like in his, 20s, 30s. And he's like, no, this is what life was really like back then. It was like, there was sort of this sense, obviously it was kind of like a lighter time and freer 100%. But he guys, again, even if it's as like silly as a sitcom, right? But I had to end it on this, because he was like, there was something about that time that even the show reflects, that no matter how, kooky, or if it's not your day or month or your year, how things just always kind of had a way of like working out and panning out. So, whether it's sitting on the lap of a Churchill, or, kind of being above all of the noise, like let them do all of their shit down here, really. And being, hopeful about this new wave. Just hold on to it. Just hold on to it. One last, no, this is actually perfect, because this is all fully transparent. One last text from Black Rant. Sorry for texting you on stream, my bus. But that's the point, right? That's exactly the point. Just like this whole episode, that it isn't these neat little boxes or rhyme or reason or right and wrong. Like, who even knows anymore? And there are no rules. And let's just get to the next level and get out of here and level up and get to the light, guys. The good, the bad, the messy, and the hopeful, and the liberating, and all of it. And I don't know about you guys, but I do have that hope, and I'm excited about that. And I will see you on Thursday. All right, have a good night. Chris, how was your pee break?
My pee break.
They might flash you.
Damn.
Random, baby.
Yeah.
Thanks for having me. Quite an intro.
What?
let's address the elephant in the room. That's not the elephant in the room. There's no elephant. Nobody cares.
And I too am a thought criminal.
Good. Well, I like you
Does
already.
this look like a girl who's joking around?
No.
No.
Around?
But how much do you actually understand money, especially the new wave?
Beauty or intelligence? When you unleash both, it is men's